Hey guys, how's it going? Tech here. So in this video, we're checking out the macOS Golden Gate Developer Beta 1 on my base M2 MacBook Air. We'll go over the new features and see how it's running so far, talk about battery life, and most importantly, whether it's worth stalling right now. One quick thing before we start is, if you have an Apple Silicon Mac, it's fine, but if you're using an Intel Mac, you're out of luck this time. Now I would say that the 90% of the stuff Apple announced is shared across iOS, iPadOS and macOS. So instead of repeating all of that, let's just focus on the Mac specific changes. So the first thing you might notice in this update is the icon design. They are basically the same ones we have already seen in iOS 27 and iPadOS 27 high contrast. So I won't spend too much time talking about them again. But not just that, you might have seen this first after updating to Golden Gate during the setup process, but also if you go to settings and then appearance, the second section where it says liquid glass, you will find that same slider there which lets you adjust how strong the liquid glass effect looks throughout the macOS. If you shove it all the way towards left, it loses 90% of its liquid glass properties, or basically the glass properties, but it still looks glossy around the edges, and inside it looks more like a traditional blur effect. Hence, you can reduce overall liquid glass effect to a certain extent. And honestly, if you're not a fan of whole liquid glass look, being able to tone it down must be a sigh of relief. So this one subtle refinement in macOS 27 is that Apple has redesigned the sidebar menu layouts across the entire native apps. In macOS Tahoe, the sidebar menu was inside its own rounded rectangular liquid glass-like container, visually separated from the overall Windows outer window edge. But with Golden Gate, Apple has merged these sections directly in the app's edge, creating a wider and much cleaner appearance. Honestly, I think this way it looks much better on a smaller display, such as the MacBooks, and it feels more unified. And the corner radii now match rest of the interface much more consistently. But that's not all. Even the options on the top section in an app window has its dedicated subsection covered in liquid glass. So it's more like they pulled the sign menu bar design and moved it to top option menus. It's a small change, but I think it's giving the entire OS a much more polished and cohesive look. Another small but useful change is up here in the menu bar. If you're using a Mac with a notch and have tons of menu bar options enabled, you will see a little arrow right here. Clicking it reveals the icon that would normally be hidden behind the notch. Once clicked, the status bar option expands towards the other side of the notch to reveal them. It's a small change, but I can definitely see it being useful for people who have a crowded status bar. Well, this year's OS actually pays attention to optimization and speed, such as apps launching faster and quicker airdrop transfers. Now, I can't properly test the Mac to Mac side of these things because I don't have another Mac running macOS 26 Tahoe, but I did feel more comfortable and smooth using Golden Gate, even if it is the first ever beta. It's definitely smoother, but it has tons of bugs compared to any recently released macOS, and they didn't even show up on first day, they gradually come. But then again, when I tried a similar comparison between my 13s on iOS 26.5 and iOS 27 beta 1, the app launch speed wasn't anything crazy, while airdrop was noticeably faster, around 45% in my testing. Of course, this is the first developer beta, so performance and speed should continue improving over the next few update releases before the final version arrives later this September. Other UX refinements include better search in Spotlight Search, which I'm going to show you in a bit, and search option in mails being more relevant to context when you make a search, and you can now create events anywhere you type that includes a date or time. So as you can see, a small drop down appears at right that already selects the date, and clicking it will give you the same interface to add events just like you traditionally would by opening the calendar app manually. Also in apps like Safari, Calendar, Mail or News, and few others, you can swipe down to reload the entire window or to get updated info on that same page. Spotlight Search also seems to have gotten better like I said and can make very detailed search and get directly stuff on the desktop without having to make extra clicks. And similarly, it also recognizes Siri commands, but this doesn't work 100% accurately every time, so make sure to restart if it feels bugged out completely. Well, so much about the refinements. Let's talk about the new Apple Intelligence features. But let me continue by saying everything is same as iOS 27 and iPadOS 27, such as Siri AI, new editing tools in the Photos app, such as cleanup, extend, reframe. It works same as mobile, but in macOS Golden Gate, you can finally get access to visual intelligence for the very first time, which was definitely not possible in the macOS Tahoe. So you can do it by clicking Command plus Shift plus 6, and the cursor will change into area selection tool. So now you can drag using trackpad, and it also has this nice Apple Intelligence futuristic animation with same liquid glass edges when you move it around. This helps to set it apart from traditional screenshot commands, but once you select an area, you will see options appear where you ask Siri about it or make an image search. So this is new to Mac. Sometimes it doesn't appear for me. So make sure to do a force restart and it should work. Then the second thing Mac also get exclusively is, but I'm not really sure because this might be available on an iPad with a trackpad connected. So here's what I mean. If you select a file and right click, the first option says ask Siri. So this is a dedicated space where you can directly ask Siri about a certain file or selected number of files. So let's just give it a try. Asking it a question. So what can you see in the image? So it will give relevant responses as you can see, but sometimes it just doesn't work when I asked for the size of the image file. I think you have to be very specific with the command. But yes, this is just a first developer beta. So when you do this, it opens inside the new Siri app, which you can continue like a chat and keep asking it. But if you're doing image generation or multi-step process requests such as asking you to remind you to call your grandma when you reach somewhere and then add items to the list and mail it back to her. So depending on your iCloud Plus subscription, basically 200 gigabytes or more, your per day usage and capabilities will be limited because it costs Apple more to keep your queries and data private than to save information forever with every search you make. So I've talked about this in a different video in ultra detail. Make sure to check it out when it is released. Well, other Apple Intelligence stuff like the Siri AI, I'm sure you already know about because it's the hype. It works same on the Mac, except you can now drag it around, but it can definitely make mistakes too, so make sure to verify it if you use it. In the photos we have two new tools other than somewhat improved cleanup: extend and reframe. So extend helps you extend image, no pun intended, and it does pretty good job, but of course there is always room for improvement as this is just the first beta, so you get the idea. But reframe is a way to slightly change the perspective of an image. So at first when you start doing it, it might look distorted, but when you apply reframe effects, it does pretty good job. But I have seen it do better in images with less complicated subject, which have sharp angles but not which is very curvy, or an image like, maybe a plant or something. So of course it will get better with the final release. And finally, the final Apple Intelligence feature is in the Shortcuts app. So instead of manually creating an automation, it can do it for you by just typing the command description right here at below. So once it is done, you can open it and edit it the same way as you did, but it is not guaranteed to work every time correctly because it's in the beta. So make sure to check and change the command if you want to get it right. By the way, also you also get the child safety on the Mac. So if you use a Mac and if you want to give a Mac to a child, you can definitely monitor what the child is doing. You can set restrictions. You can watch my 11 Pro Max video on iOS 27 where I have given a perfect setup, as this is not a child Mac right now. So that's pretty much it about the features, but the performance have been stable 90% of the time, at least with launching and basic navigation. But it did once hung out on me completely, and suddenly all the open windows stopped responding and I had to force restart, which is the only thing that helps. So I don't think there are very noticeable stuttering like there are in the betas, but it does slow down sometimes. And there are definitely bugs that are pretty annoying. As you can see, Siri AI sometimes doesn't work, visual intelligence sometimes doesn't work, and it only fixed by a force restart. So I don't think I'm gonna recommend installing this, as this is the first beta and it has tons of bugs even if it is fluid. So definitely wait for maybe beta 3 or beta 4 where it gets kind of better with other optimizations and bug fixes. So yeah, so let's talk about battery finally. So as you can see, I last charged it to 74% at around 21:20, and now I have 63% left, almost after 3 hours with light usage. So you can get the idea. And the battery for me personally seems to be running similar to macOS Tahoe. It's around 6 to 7 hours daily, and if that's on basic browsing, and I think 3 to 4 hours of video editing using the Vinci. So I'm sure you must have gotten some idea and how it does on my machine, and it is weirdly stable. I mean, it is smooth, but tons of bugs which may arise later, because it did for me on days 7 and 8. It didn't do for the first week at all. So most of it is somewhat, this is my experience in macOS Golden Gate Developer Beta 1 on my M2 MacBook Air. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.